Hello. Hi, everybody. Hello. Are you there? Hello. Can't hear you. Cool. Hello. My name is this guy. Yeah, I'm a member of the Order of the British Empire, which, as you all know, is clearly still in existence. I'm here today to talk to you about a subject to do with raising capital. And what I thought I'd do is, I don't have a lot of slides, I just have some notes. And the idea really is to really talk about the secrets of raising capital rather than all the stuff that you might normally hear from people about, you gotta have a pitch deck. It's like everybody knows you have to have a pitch deck, right? Question is, how do you actually do it in terms of meeting investors and meeting partners in the real world that we live in, rather than the world of the make-believe that you might read about on TechCrunch, for instance. What are the single most effective ways of getting to that first meeting with an investor or that partner, or perhaps even a journalist, when you don't have a warm intro, right? You'll want to get into this, you don't have a warm intro, or maybe you do. Well, first of all, you've got to arm yourself with the best resources. So you've got to get your pitch down, you've got to understand your market, you've got to have done some due diligence on the competitive environment, all of those things. Take arms against the sea of troubles and by opposing end them, I think, as Shakespeare would have said. Take up arms. So, when you're doing networking to try and meet people, to raise money, I've got breaking news for you. Breaking news. It takes a long time. It's very slower. It's a lot slower than you might think. Because how you're networking, how you're meeting people is a long game. Because let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the biggest secret about the technology industry and the biggest secret about startups is it's not about technology. It's not. I hate to disabuse you of your previous notions, but it's actually about you. It's about people. And it's about trust. Because if you're an entrepreneur and you're raising money, and you have to look someone in the eye and say, listen, give me $500,000 or whatever, they have to look you back in the eye and go, okay, I believe it. I'm a believer. Right? So it's about trust. You have to really gain people's trust. And that takes time. So assuming you have got your weapons, as it were, you've got your pitch deck, you've rehearsed it 50 million times, you understand what you're doing, what are you going to do next? Well, it is kind of a numbers game. You're going to have to meet lots and lots of people, kiss a lot of frogs before you find your prince. And the point is you're talking about people who are bombarded by pitches, bombarded by emails, and things like that. The good news, however, is that there's sort of a gold rush going on. And part of the gold rush is driven by the fact that investors are scared, okay? And they're not scared in a bad way, they're scared in a good way. When investors are scared, it means they're more pro-entrepreneur. When investors are not scared, it means they're lazy. And believe you me, ladies and gentlemen, lots and lots of investors are extremely lazy. I'm really sorry that they are. Where are the investors? Are they down the front? Hello. How lazy? Are you lazy? Oh, mate, you're not lazy. You're here. You're working. They are lazy. Why are they lazy? Well, because as somebody said to me, I said, listen, I was in Silicon Valley. I said, listen, why are you not investing in London startups? I was in London at the time. And he said, well, I've got a company in Berkeley. That's 30 miles away. I was like, okay. It's because he just doesn't want to get in the car and drive. Lazy. Lazy, lazy, lazy investors. Right? Super lazy. But now, ladies and gentlemen, they are less lazy they're more hungry. The reason they're more hungry is that they want to invest at an earlier and earlier stage. They want to invest at an early stage so they get a better deal out of the entrepreneur. The entrepreneurs that are raising later these days, by the time that a Series A comes along, the investor's often too late. So the talk these days in Silicon Valley and in London is not of Series A deals, it's seed deal after seed deal, because the investors want to get in on the ground floor. So making them hungry is a good thing. And in fact, there is an actual, there's a sort of a myth about cold emails. Just sending an old email straight off to an investor, hoping that they'll read it. It turns out they are actually reading them. And I'm telling you why, because they want visibility into these early deals. Now, that's not, you don't necessarily want to rely on that cold email. The warm intro from someone who knows the investor is always going to be a better pitch. Yes? Yes, am I right? Yes? Of course it is. Why is it better to have a warm intro? Somebody? Huh? Trust, exactly. Thank you very much, madam. Wonderful. I shall, there'll be a prize for you later. Trust. That's right. The warm intro is trust. So let's go with that. Now, you can get a warm intro. You can try the cold email. You can also do LinkedIn, which is, I don't know, I hate it personally, but some people seem to find it works. Even if an investor is active on Twitter, because a lot of investors, they like to sound like experts, and they will be tweeting about the latest news from TechCrunch or whatever it is on artificial intelligence or the future of transportation or VR, whatever it is they're interested in, they are tweeting about it furiously. So what are you going to do with the investor or the partner that you want to speak to when they are tweeting? Madam, what's the answer? Sir, he's checking his email. What are you going to do? Talk to them back on Twitter. Thank you, well done. You're going to go back onto Twitter and you're going to say, that's a very good point about artificial intelligence you made. Perhaps I could contribute to this discussion. That's what you're going to do. You're going to show them your expertise in a particular area, right? Now, another thing is going to happen is that if you've got a product and you have customers, your customers can also be a fantastic conduit to the next conversation with an investor or a potential partner or whoever it is. Your customers are also part of your audience. Your customers can be the best customers you have are the ones who are actually going to get you some of those intros. Now, some technical useful things, which is that you can use a news website called conspire.com. Conspire.com, very Shakespearean. And that is very interesting because it actually it shows networks that you might be part of that you weren't actually aware of before. It's a bit more powerful than LinkedIn. So check that one out. Another one is to, if you don't hear back from an investor, when an investor doesn't reply to your emails, you've tried the cold call, you've tried the LinkedIn, you've tried the warm intro, you're not hearing back, right? Don't worry. What you can do then is move on to the next target, and then gradually things will get around that you are trying to get heard in a particular sector. These people talk to each other, actually. You'd be surprised. So long as you have been polite, so long as you've managed to create a good impression, there will be chatter about you in the networks about what you're doing. Speak to as many people as you can. Try and speak at conferences and get on this stage so you can talk about what you do. And of course, another one, it's a fantastic thing, is if you finally get that meeting with the investor, then you will get, if you can present them with a term sheet that you've got from another investor, you can say, right, now you can better this. Make this, give me a better deal than this. with what I'm talking about right now with another investor, right? So you can present a term sheet that you've got from another one in front of them, and they'll go, oh, okay, I think we can improve on this. Gives you a better negotiating hand. Accelerators, you can join accelerators. That's worked for some people. Not all companies prefer to join accelerator. And of course, angels. Now, you might not necessarily approach an individual angel investor, but you might approach an angel network. Angel networks exist all over the place, and the point about them is to corral all of these deals into one place so that these high net worth individuals can actually look at particular deals. So the angel networks are actually becoming more and more powerful, and part of the reason they're becoming better and more powerful is because, as I said, investors are getting worried that they're missing out on these early stage deals. So, we've done our work, we've done our due diligence, we've worked out how to get that introduction. What's another thing we can do? Well, you can arrange, this is a secret that some actual entrepreneurs actually use. They arrange to bump into the investors randomly at some event. So they know where they are, and they try to be around when the person is there. And this actually, weirdly, is actually working. It does actually work, but if you manage to get FaceTime, that's far more important. Social media, email, everybody can do this. I can be halfway across the world and try and get an interview just using social media or an email, but if I can get in front of somebody, I can do much more interesting things. Now, what happens if a portfolio company, a company that's in the portfolio of an investor, is a competitor to you, and you get the call to go and do the meeting with the investor? What's going to happen? Anybody got any ideas? Anybody? You've got a meeting with an investor who's got a company in their portfolio who's a competitor. Any thoughts?
Buy you
Huh?
out.
Buy you out. They've already got an investment in your space, and you think they're going to buy you out. Thank you, sir. Correct answer. What they're actually doing is plugging you for competitive intelligence about your market. They're not interested in investing in you. They want to see if your product is better or worse than the company that they've invested in, right? So actually you're forming competitive intelligence for them. So you've got to be very wary about that sort of conversation, right? So that's a useful thing to watch out for. Now, even if you fail at all of this networking you're trying to do, don't worry, because you'll have got some great experience. You'll actually have got some bigger network, so that when eventually you do really want to raise money again, you can start the whole process all over again. Now, the point about being in startups is that there's no point at which you are not raising money. Everybody is always raising money, and the reason is that you never know when you're going to need it. So you always have to have these conversations about the future, that some of which turn into real things and some of which don't. So those are a few thoughts about speaking to investors, getting a networking going. I hope that's useful. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. I'll be around later if you want to have questions. Thanks.